Hey everybody, I just wanted to film this kind of weird issue that I've been having. Some of you guys that watched the last video may notice that the trans isn't in the car. It's not because I haven't tried to install it. I've installed the car and took it out with the help of a friend probably 6 or 7 times now. It's been under the car and back out and tore all the way back down to the reverse clutches. What I didn't understand is that basically this build, it was all the hard parts that I had in a stock case. So really the main hard parts in this is it's a 180 BTE gear set, 10 clutch drum for the high gear, the Sonics parts, which isn't really even hard parts. But I've got a cone input shaft and then a Jake's converter, 258 mil converter. Now, the issue I'm having is I lost my converter spacing. Also, this has a TCI G-rotor pump. I lost my converter spacing when I went to go put this in the car, and I didn't really understand why, because with the stock case glide, this had more than an 1/8 inch, like 150 thousandths between the pads and the flex plate. And then when you go to measure it from across this face here with a straight edge down to the pads, it would be like 0.95-ish. And when you're building these, apparently you want like 1.03-ish. So I had like right around a 1/16 between the flex plate and the pads here. And I couldn't understand why. I thought maybe it was something that I did. So I took the trans out of the car several times. We tried different input shafts because I did have another input shaft. Tried that, didn't work. I pulled the trans all the way down to the reverse clutches like I was saying, thinking that maybe my bearings were messed up back here. If you've ever had a glide apart or if you watch the video, it's not hard. It's very hard to mess something like this up unless I pinch the high drum bearing. But then I wouldn't have any end play, which this has 12 thousandths end play in it. So I was a little stumped there. I took it apart, put it back together, took it apart, put it back together. I had originally thought it was something to do with the pump because the pump and the case are the only things that change with this. And I had a stock pump, so I threw a stock pump in it. And then I tore the G-rotor pump out. This is the stock pump. Thinking that maybe the gear clearance for the 2 tangs that drive the pump on the torque converter weren't clearanced enough, but the tangs actually go all the way through the gear, so there's no point in clearancing them. That wasn't my issue. Now, some of you guys that build trans may know this, and I guess leave it in the comments because I feel like an idiot. The only thing I changed was the case and the pump, so I changed the pump, ruling out that it was the pump. And then I finally did measurements with an actual caliper from the face to here, so I didn't have to continually put it in the car. And I took the input shafts out and just put the converter on there and measured it from here down to the pad with a straight edge like I showed you. And this, and it measures about 1.28 thousandths. So I had come to the conclusion finally after like 3 days of beating my head against the wall on this, that the case, this BTE case, is somehow shorter. I'm not sure why they would make it shorter. The only thing I can justify in my head is that their input shafts are all combo length. So if you build power glides, you know that the 176 is the primary gear set that everything is based off of. Like if you get an aftermarket gear set, most of the time they're a 176 length. So almost every input shaft that people make are based off the 176 length input. Well, there's probably 60 to 70% of the aftermarket uses what's called a combo length. And somehow I'm so unlucky that I have two 12 and 7/8 inputs here. And the combo length is made for like a 12 3/4 because the two gear sets are the 182 and the 176 base. The 182 uses a 12 5/8, and then this uses a 12 7/8. They make a combo that's close to like 12 3/4, or like an in between where you won't have converter issues. And that's what I was running into. This converter was bottoming on the input shaft. So what I did to alleviate that is took the other shaft to a machine shop and had it milled down or laid down or ground down 100 thousandths, which my interference there was 80. And now I have 1.03 as far as here to here. And I should have picked up, if it was 0.95 before, I can't really do math, but what would that be, about 60, 70 or 80-ish thousandths here, which will give me 1/8 of an inch when I go to measure my flex plate. So I don't know how common this is. And like I was saying before, I don't know why BTE would make the case to that dimension, because it's their gear set. The 10 clutch drum, I guess, you know, it can't really interfere with it because it's not, I still have end play, so I'm assuming that their case measurements are based off of their input shaft length, which doesn't really make any sense. But now that it's figured out, I can post this video and hopefully it helps somebody like me that is too cheap to pay somebody to do this, even though I've probably got way more money in this trans than somebody would just go buy a PTC or something when it's on sale. They make, like I said in the other video, you can buy a pre-built aftermarket case glide for like 12 to 1500 horsepower for like 35, 38, or $4,000. And in my opinion, all the parts markup and stuff to buy this piece by piece and build it yourself is not worth it. You get a warranty and stuff, and you don't have to deal with headaches like this. So this is my milled down input shaft. It only took 100 thousandths off, so it's not really like a big change, but that's all that was giving me issue there, guys. So I wanted to use the Cohen input, even though this TCI was supposed to be made for this pump. This is rated for more power. It's, I think, Aeromat or some other kind of exotic metal that they don't really even make this input shaft anymore. So it's rated for a lot more than that one, which I think is 300M. So we're gonna be slapping this thing together. Hopefully I have no issues with it. If I do, I'll record. You guys know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hopefully this helps somebody not pull their hair out for 3 or 4 days. I know this is kind of a common problem with mix matching stuff. And I guess I should have called BTE in the first place, and maybe they would have steered me in the right direction, because I bought the case from a dealer, because SFI stuff is so hard to find right now. So that's all. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.